Good morning. Facts are golden. Good morning, Tickety Top. Good to see you. We're going to have a few conversations. It's going to be short and tight, and I'm not going to stick to it long. If you're otherwise busy, carry on, carry on. So, good morning, all. I am going on my maiden voyage on Facts Are Golden over on the tube. So, welcome. We have conversations. We don't do debates. If you know something, feel free to share it. If I'm wrong about something, please correct me. I don't do debates because I found far too many of my fellow Americans' IQ is subpar. And they are more with feelings than facts. That's the other reason I really don't do debates. I hold conversations. Grab your beverage of choice. I'm going to start out. You all know there's no such thing as a preemptive strike for security, right? That's called an attack. We are attacking Iran. That would be like your neighbor coming over to your house, punching you in the nose, saying, in 2 weeks, I think you're going to come over and punch me in the nose, so I'm going to preemptively come over to your house. Because let's be clear, Iran here, America there. They're nowhere near us. So when did we become cowards? I don't know. When did we become such little piss-ant, weak-kneed cowards? Again, I don't know. But we traveled all the way to the other side of the world to attack someone who had not attacked us. And before any of you bring up the hostage crisis, go look at 1953. Go look at the 1950s. When we overthrew their government, when we removed their duly elected democratic government. You know, democracy and all that rigmarole. So, the war that actually never stopped, never ended, has gone over 60 days. Our House, our Congress, has wrung their hands and wept and cried, but they have not found their cojones. They have not found their balls to say, stop, do not send near another weapon, ship, or soldier into that area. Now, elections are coming. Some of you will behave as if, well, he's doing it for the security of this country. What security? How's that pocketbook looking? How's your grocery prices looking? How's your oil, when you go to the gas station, what's it looking like for you? Because that's not helping you and me. It's helping the war profiteers. Absolutely. Lindsey Graham has shown himself to be an absolute war profiteer. I'm willing to sacrifice every son and daughter for the security of this nation. No, baby, you're a war profiteer. You're making money on the back end, while the people who voted you in are losing their sons and daughters. Maybe not even physically. Mentally. Going to war is not for the faint of heart. There's a reason we have so many people that have to use the VA for mental health purposes. They came back physically well, but mentally damaged. Then there are those who came back physically damaged and mentally well. So while Lindsey Graham is running around rah-rah ringing the bell of war, Suit your ass up. I don't care if they put your ass out there to dig ditches. Suit up. Suit and boot. Before any of my neighbor's kids or husband or wife are sent into that hellhole. That's what I want. Tap screen, share live, please. Tap screen, share live. Gift or do not gift, I'm fine with it. But tap the screen and share the live. Because, see, I have conversations about my fellow Americans and the damage being done to my country. There are those who claim to be patriots. They're not. They're not. They're patriots. They're loyalists, actually. They desperately want a king. Yet if they really had a king, they'd be saying, we want independence, we want democracy. They can't make up their mind. They cannot make up their mind. They want to be in a clique, in a cult, in a group. And the problem is, once you get in that clique, that group, that's when you start looking around going, damn, these are some dumb folks. Wait, they want you to put your child's life on the line for it's not real? Wait, what did they do to us? What did Iran do to us? Because I don't know about y'all, but my parents always taught me, you don't run with a gang. If someone goes into a store and steals something, baby, and they take off running, you better stay in there. And when the store owner or store security says, your friend stole, yeah, I know them, but I'm not with them. Baby, I'm not taking the fall for nobody. I was born alone. I will die alone. I don't share a bed with them. I don't wake up to their early morning bad breath. And story time, my parents were quite proud of me when I was young and we were in a store, Mr. Clark's store, little corner store. He had the best comic books, DC and Marvel. Yeah. And they decided they wanted to steal the latest X-Men issue. Yeah, I looked at it. I didn't have the money for it. I bought what my pocket could pay for. I'm standing there paying, and they go running out the store. 2 comic books, bag of chips. They take off running. As the last one was going out the door, T, come on. T was like, I'm looking at the owner. He's running from around the counter, sticking his head. By then, they're down the damn block. He turned around and looked at me and said, you with them? I said, here's my money. I'm buying what I'm buying. Do you know them? Yeah, I know them from school. Am I with them? Oh, no, baby, I'm not with them. I'm not with them. I know them, but as you can see, what I can afford is on the counter. Here's my money. What's your parents' number? I gave them the number because guaranteed when my parents showed up and they said, what happened? And he said, some kids grabbed some comic books and a bag of chips. They ran out of here. Your daughter was with them. They said, did she run? He said, no. Did she take anything? He said, nope. They said, did she buy anything? He said, yep. Here's the money right here. I haven't even put it in the register. This is what, and it would cover what she's got right here. They looked at that man, at Mr. Clark, and said, okay, then you need to track down every one of those kids. Because our child paid for her shit. didn't run with the clique, and stayed right here. That store owner looked me right in the eye and said, you know what? You need to hang out with a better class of people. I'd steer clear of those folks because they're going to wind up dragging you into some shit. I said, yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're absolutely right, sir. I should not be. When we got back to school and they asked me, why didn't you run? I didn't run because, baby, I'm not a thief. My parents raised me better than that shit. They also raised me to never run with thieves or liars or con men. Don't run with a clique. You ain't got to worry about what the clique is doing. So let's be clear. All of y'all who followed Trump since 2016, you're choosing to run with a clique. You're choosing to run with a liar. You're choosing to run with a con man. You're choosing to look the other way because you like what he's saying. And the fact that you like what he's saying is a weakness in you. I have people sometimes pop up into my lives and they're carrying on about MAGA this, MAGA that. MAGA don't pay your goddamn bills. MAGA don't wipe your ass. MAGA don't pay your car note. It's a clique. It's a group. And somehow you're failing to understand you have to differentiate. You have to be able to say, well, yeah, they do this over here, but I'm not going to go with it. I voted for Reagan. There came a time where I disagreed with what Reagan was doing or saying. I had the wherewithal, the independence to say, no, that's not right. No. Why is he doing stupid shit like that? Iran-Contra. He what? Oliver North sold weapons illegally and he knew about it? Wait. I don't care how much I like Reagan's ass. What the fuck happened? I firmly believe if back during Reagan, he'd come up with a cute little term, like Trump derangement syndrome, Reagan derangement syndrome, there would have been those who were stupid enough to repeat it. Instead of saying, wait a minute, what Reagan did was wrong. What he is doing is wrong. Instead, they would repeat like mockingbirds and not say, hold up. I don't care how much I might like you. What you're doing is wrong. That right there. See, that's the problem. We have people who are incapable of holding people accountable, but will call other people names. Will try to call other people names. And sound like children going, I know I am, but what are you? That right there. See, that's the danger to our nation. That you will not do that shit. Those are the 77 million, over half now, who have taken down the Trump flags, taken off their Chinese-created red hats, peeled off that Trump sticker off their bumper. And the danger with that is those who have done that still have not learned. The next time the next cult leader comes along, the next time the next slick talker comes along, they'll be standing in line to buy the new sticker, the new hat, the new poster, because they haven't learned their lesson. They're just switching horses. See what I mean? That's what I mean about I have conversations. Not everybody's ready to have that conversation. And even if they lie and say they are, well, oh well, oh well. Mr. Chong, one of the people in the current administration, I don't think he's over 30 years old. Mike Pompeo on Saturday, when they released the plan for Iran, the deal, Mike Pompeo, who has over 30 years of political experience, took a look at the plan and went, this is a plan that the 7 nations and Obama drew up. This was the agreement that they drew up with Iran. You know, the one where he returned the money that we stole and everyone lost their freaking minds? Obama's giving Iran money. It was Iran's money. Unfortunately, my fellow Americans haven't learned that fucking shit because they don't bother cracking a history book. He didn't give them our money. He gave them back their money. While at the same time, this current administration wanted to give a couple of $1 billion of our tax dollars to Iran. Just this past Saturday, post all over live social, we've got a deal, we've got a deal. No, the deal involved giving them our tax dollars for reparations for bombing a child's school, for bombing civilians. Are y'all getting that? Are y'all getting that? This man's intent was to pay Iran our billions in our tax dollars, but we can't do health care, can't do the Department of Education, can't take care of our veterans. Absolutely not. But again, there are still tag-alongs, loyalists, who are not putting 1 and 1 together and coming up with 2. They're coming up with 8 or 12. Trump derangement syndrome. You can't do math. Maybe you shouldn't be saying things like that. Because apparently the math ain't mathing and it's getting right by you. Oh, don't think for 1 minute I'm letting the fucking Democrats off the hook. In 2025, the Democratic Party elected a new leader to the DNC, named Ken Martin. Ken Martin is an ex-Republican who came in with the idea, catch this, the Democrats need to go to more gun shows, Mack truck competitions, boxing matches, and tailgates. AKA, Ken Martin said the Democratic Party should be RNC light. Yeah, that shit right there. RNC light. See, when the RNC lost to Obama in his second election, they did what's called an autopsy. What went wrong? Why didn't we hold him to 1 term? The RNC was told, you don't engage with people of color. You don't engage with the Latino community. And you need to do more of that. The RNC said, fuck that shit, took that report, that autopsy of their loss, put it up on a shelf, and MAGA was born. We're going to focus strictly on Caucasian people, and we're going to vilify Latinos, and any other person of color. That is what the RNC chose to fucking do. And here we are. The level of IQ is fucking dropped in this country between then and now. The loyalists were born. Yeah. Now, what's going on now? Oh, well, Ken Martin was supposed to release the autopsy last spring. What happened in 2024? Why was there such a loss? Why did they lose the house? He put it in the fucking drawer. He said, there's no problem. We're just going to keep on doing the same old, same old. That's what Ken Martin, as leader of the DNC, fucking said. Here we are a year later, Cory Booker talking about, we're desperately in need of new leadership. You just voted the fucking man in last April, 2025. But you're already, finally, it took you a whole fucking year to realize Ken Martin's a fucking idiot. He's a RNC plant. At least someone on this side is opening their mouth, but don't trust Booker. Because no one on the RNC opened their mouth back when they chose to ditch the autopsy that they did of their losses. We keep letting the plants in. Let me be clear about something. David Hogg was kicked out Let me be clear. Someone just tried to report my live. If you are a child, get the fuck out of my live. If you are incapable of critical thinking, get out of my live. You take this finger, and you scroll. Because hard facts, adults face them. Okay? David Hogg was voted in as part of the committee to find new people to run for office in early 2025. They kicked him out because he literally said, if you're over 50, you need to retire. Get out now. Before 2026 elections. Get out. And they turned around and held another election and kicked him out. They kept Ken Martin. They kept his ass. They kept the RNC plant. But they got rid of David Hogg. Now go check out what David Hogg's been up to with Leaders We Deserve. And how many people under the age of 50 this man has managed to shelter into being elected. And you can start with Mondami in New York. There's one in Tennessee. There's one in Texas. He's going state by state, finding people under the age of 50 to run for office. They're out there. But the DNC doesn't want that. They want the old guard. They want them to stay in office till they freaking drop dead. So, to get back to Cory Booker, talking about they need new leadership. They are multiple racial. They are multiple. They are black. They are Latino. They are Asian. Black historian, I like what this young man's doing. Is he going to hit the ball out of the park every time? I don't think so. Yeah, the grand old DNC has got to fucking go. Problem is, Cory Booker, oh, he was loud. He spoke Sunday about how we got to get new leadership in there, and they tripped him up. Because Jake Trapper asked him, what about Schumer? And he and odd and oh and all. Baby, you're in the Senate. We're tired of the strongly worded fucking letters out of Schumer. But you ain't going to say nothing about that. Don't want to rock the water. Don't want to upset the water. When you should have been saying, absolutely, Schumer needs to go too. Oh, Pelosi's already gone. Yep, Pelosi's already gone. That horse they've been beaten to death for years about Pelosi. Pelosi's gone. She's not running again. Someone's running to take her spot. Now let's move on to Schumer and Booker, who's been riding the I saved someone from a fire train for years, who went to visit Is Not Real in a picture of delegates, DNC delegates that went over to visit Is Not Real. You saw him hiding in the background, his tall ass. Yeah, that right there. Yeah. Booker needs to go. Schumer needs to go. Every one of them motherfuckers, if you are over the age of 50, you need to fucking go. Goodbye. Doors that away. Because you've gotten too comfortable with the money. Mike Johnson. Hey, when y'all gonna get Mike Johnson's ass out of there? Isn't he from Louisiana? Can y'all vote his ass out? His non-religious, fake, Bible-thumping ass? This man had the balls to stand there and say, you know, it's so hard being in the House and the Senate. Our wages have been frozen since 2000. Ours have been frozen too. We haven't raised minimum wage since 2009, and we don't get, what, $700,000? Correct me if I'm wrong. I forget the exact, but I ain't nowhere near their goddamn money. And you complain? Maybe if you weren't gaveling out and working not even 200 days a fucking year. Every time somebody tries to bring up something that he's uncomfortable about, E-Files, why we're over in the middle of the Middle East, you got to gavel out for a week, 2 weeks. Y'all take more goddamn vacations than the law ought to allow. And then while you're on vacation, you still getting paid. Come on, baby. Hell no. Freeze that paycheck till y'all get your ass back to fucking work. How about that? Oh yeah, he was highlighting James Tallarico. Cooper is what, 70? Come on, he's highlighting as a new leader. You have new leaders in there. You have AOC. You have Summer Lee. You have Maxwell Frost. You have people. But you're talking about two people who would freshly be coming in. Booker. What about the younger people who are already there? I believe Garcia would make a good leader. But yeah. Stranger focusing on Tallarico, who ain't never had no goddamn federal government experience, but you talking about he would make a good leader. Would he be good? Would he be easier to manipulate? Is that it? That shit don't make no goddamn sense. Oh, by the way, Clyburn's running for office again. I guess the anticipated result is for him to die in office. All this time, let's be clear. I will give this to the Republicans. Every time you see one of them out there, there's somebody on their shoulder. Somebody younger than them on their shoulder. This is the one that I'm training, I'm leading to take my place. Now look at the Democrats. Where's the person that they're guiding? informing, training, teaching. Where? Yeah, I ain't seeing nobody. I ain't seeing nobody. Yeah. North Carolina is about to vote to freeze taxes. See, that's what Florida did. And it's been detrimental to their state. Because the taxes pay for your streets, your water lines, your police, your fire department. Yeah, that right there. Anywho, Cory Booker, take your ass back over to Is Not Real. Get your APAC money and move on. How about that? How about we start vetting them based upon how much money they're getting from corporations? I think it is, I forget what state it is. One of the states is actually passing a law that corporations are not people. Since they can't get around to repealing Citizens United, you know we can do this shit state by state. Yeah. Go around the Supreme Court. According to our state, states' rights. Businesses, corporations are not people. Maxwell House is not a person. Carhartt is not a person. So if you're uncomfortable in our state, and if enough states turn the tide, you're going to have to give up that shit. Give up it. Dark money, get it the fuck out of our government. You want to accept that money from APAC, then you lose your job. How about that? You lose your fucking job. Michigan, what? Oh, good. Good on Michigan. We need more states to do this shit. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, yes, they want to pass a national abortion ban, but since it's not quite working out, they're going state by state. North Carolina is putting on the books, same as Texas. If a doctor even gives advice about terminating a pregnancy or about IUDs or about birth control, they can be fined. Yeah. It is not the government's business what goes on between my knees. It is not the government's business. If a decision is made by a husband and wife about what's going on between her knees, it's not the government's business. So these shriveled up old men sitting in the state houses and the federal houses need to mind their own damn business. How about that? Just a thought. Or you could make vasectomies free across the board. How about that? Mandatory vasectomies. You father more than 2 children, vasectomy. Who am I? I'm just an everyday American. I'm just me. You can call me T. So if you want to pass laws about women's bodies, while at the same time screaming, we're the freest country in the world, I'm fighting for everyone. Everyone. Because once they take their rights, they're going to come for yours. That's how they're chiseling them away, Quasi. Once we've taken it from them, well, why are we letting you have rights? I mean, maybe we need to roll yours back too. Keep that shit in mind. See, some folks are out here actually playing chess, while far too many of my fellow Americans are focused on checkers. Pay attention, peeps. Anywho, I work from home. I retire tomorrow. And then I'll get a job, because in this country, you can't actually retire and live off your Social Security. You have to get a job. So one day you say, woohoo! I did my time. I've retired. And then you go, oh fuck, to be able to live in this country, I'm going to need to get a part-time job. Have you ever noticed all of the silver hairs working at Walmart and McDonald's and all these other places? They don't do it because for shucks and fucking giggles. They do it because of how expensive it is to live in this country. Yeah. And we're told over and over again, we're the greatest nation. No, we're not. That's a lie. That's propaganda. We're the freest nation. No, we're not. If we were the freest nation, we wouldn't have we wouldn't have jack-suited bug, jack-suited thugs marching through our streets, snatching people. We wouldn't have concentration camps. That's what these holding facilities are. They keep saying they're processing facilities. Someone tell me, before I go, how many judges have they hired to process people? If they're processing centers and they're opening up more and they're snatching people off the streets, how many judges have they hired to process them? Or is the prison complex just getting a lot of people that they're making money off of? Yeah, that right there. Again, think shit through. Look it up. They're planning on opening even more processing centers, but you're not hearing a damn thing about them hiring any judges to handle people in these processing centers. Doesn't that seem a little odd? Yeah. That right there. Y'all think some shit through. Y'all start realizing that on the one hand, the prison business is booming. On the other hand, these data centers are poisoning our water and our air. Somebody tell me, have you heard of a single data center building their own power plant? Yeah, that right there. So they're denying certain areas. I believe it's Nevada, where they've literally told the whole town, we're not going to be supplying power to you anymore because there's a data center that's going to need all of our generated energy. Fuck y'all. Y'all gave us tax breaks to come here. Y'all gave us tax breaks to expand. But now we're going to say, fuck you, and supply energy to the data center. Oh, is your water turning brown? Or piss yellow? Make do. Buy yourself some bottled water. But again, my fellow Americans, too many of you are putting 1 and 1 together and coming up with 8 and then going, wait a minute, the math ain't mathing. Or you're failing to do that. That's the scary part. Y'all pay attention. Booker is comfortable. Booker needs to have a challenger. Again, look up leaders we deserve. Go through the stats, the number of people that are going to be running, not as a Democrat, not as a Republican. Oh yes, Jeffrey's ass got to go too. Mr. Fakey. Mr. I'm going to imitate Obama because I don't have my own personality. Mr. I clung to Nancy Pelosi's skirts so goddamn long I don't have a personality of my own. Fuck. Anywho, as I said, I got to get to work. Strap up, lock in, get to work, and do my job. Y'all, have a great day. Take care, everybody. Remember, trust the tea, not the Kool-Aid. Feel free to subscribe. Also, over on YouTube, facts are, hold on. There you go, peeps. There we are. I don't know why it keeps doing that. Facts are golden. Come on over to YouTube. Hit subscribe. It is free. I don't have a paywall. I don't believe in paywalls. We have conversations. Watch a couple videos. Comment. I comment back. And again, as I said, facts are golden. We have to hold to that. We have to hold to reality. It's not about red. It's not about blue, because that doesn't put food on your table. That doesn't cut the price of gas. Facts are reality. And some of us are ready to face it and some of us aren't. And we have to be willing to let some people fall by the wayside. Y'all have a great day. Be well. You too. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you. Facts are golden. Have a good one, peeps.